This is the Italian Citizenship Podcast, hosted by Marco Permunian and Rafael Di Furia.
Well, hello there, and welcome to another edition of the Italian Citizenship Podcast, presented by Italiancitizenshipassistance.com. Of course, we are back live and in person with Italian attorney Marco Permunian. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I am doing great, thank you. And today we're sitting here in person. It's been a while since we've been doing this. The last couple of days we've been recording and we've been in some different locations, and it's been quite a bit of fun. And I was thinking maybe it could be interesting because we don't usually talk about ourselves so much on this podcast, and maybe there's a way that we can relate some of the things that have happened over the last couple of years in each of our lives and bring that into how it is to be an Italian citizen. So, for example, you've gotten married. You have a child now. You're a father, a very proud father of a very cute little one. And I've been living abroad. And so, I don't know, let's maybe start with kind of your situation, what's been going on, and relate that to life as an Italian citizen. So first, getting married. You married a woman who is an EU citizen. And so how has that been for you guys to bring your spouse here to Italy, like registering and getting your life all started together?
But just before Marco gets into his answer, a quick word from Italian Citizenship Assistants and Italian real estate lawyers. Italy, the country of our ancestors, a land full of history and splendor, now at your fingertips. On this journey from April 10th to 17th, you'll explore regions that bring ancestral stories to life and attend specialized seminars on Italian citizenship, real estate, and life in Italy. Spaces are limited. Begin your Italian journey today, and for more information and to book your spot, visit ItalianAncestryTour.com. Book before December 15th, 2024 to get a €500 discount per person and give the gift of Italy this holiday season.
When we met, my wife was already living in Italy. At the time, of course, she was not yet my wife, but since she's an EU citizen, she was allowed to not only visit Italy, but also live here permanently, register as a resident, get a job. The European Union is a system that works this way. If you are a citizen of an EU country, you can do basically anything in any of the other countries at the same level of the citizens of the other country, meaning that with the exception of voting for the elections, you can rent an apartment, get a tax code, get a job. So all of the things that a citizen of that country could do, or pretty much all of the things that the citizen of that country could do, which is also why getting Italian citizenship by descent for many Americans is so interesting, because not only they can live in Italy and work in Italy and own a property in Italy or purchase a vehicle if they reside in Italy, but also they can do the same in any other European country. And that's how the European Union works, or actually I should say the Schengen area.
Well, of course, another congratulations on this new chapter that's already been going on for a little bit now. But from a practical aspect, getting married, being married, like what are the considerations that you have to take into account, like say documentation, so making sure that you can legally live in the same place together and that everything is all registered where it's supposed to be registered?
So there are certain rules that you need to keep in mind as an Italian citizen getting married to a foreign citizen. So when you get married in Italy, then the marriage certificate is automatically registered in the town where you, the Italian, reside. But when you're getting married abroad, the marriage certificate, of course, is registered in the country in which you got married. And in my case, I got married abroad in her home country. And what we had to do is we had to register the marriage certificate through the Italian consulate in the country where we got married. And the marriage certificate was recorded in the town where I reside in Italy. Now, in my situation, since I was legally residing in Italy, I could also have registered the marriage certificate directly at the municipality where I reside. But at the time, we did it for a variety of reasons through the Italian embassy in her own country, which is, on the other hand, a necessity when also the Italian is residing in the foreign country. So in other words, when the Italian citizen is residing in the country where he or she gets married, then at that point, you cannot really address the municipality of registration directly, but you have to deal with the Italian embassy. In my case, we ended up doing that anyway, but I could have gone directly through the municipality where I legally reside in Italy to register the marriage certificate.
That's really interesting. So in your case, being here, you have multiple options ahead of you. So it is really fascinating because there are a lot of people who are interested in doing destination weddings. They maybe live in one country and do a marriage in another country. But what about maybe moving on, taking another few steps onto your little one, your cute little one? How was that going through the process of like just giving birth in Italy, registering the birth of your child, and making sure that everything is set up so that everything can go well for your child's life here in Italy?
My child was born in Italy, so the birth certificate was automatically registered in the town where myself and my wife reside in Italy. Now, I said automatically, but actually there were some practical steps that we needed to take care of right after the birth, meaning that the birth certificate or a birth attestation is formed by the hospital, but then it's your responsibility as the parent to go to the municipality. And you have options, actually. You can go to the municipality where the event happened, so where the birth happened, which in my case was not the municipality where I reside, or you can go to the municipality where the mother of the child, to be precise, resides. So in case of difference in residencies between the mom and the dad, you need to register the birth certificate of the child either through the municipality of birth of the child or through the municipality of residency of the mother, not the father.
That's actually really fascinating. And so how was that? Were there any other steps? I mean, do you get the fiscal code or the codice fiscale automatically at birth, or is that something that you wait for at a later date when your child is older?
In my case, since my child was born in Italy, the tax code or codice fiscale was generated automatically, and the generation happened when I registered the birth certificate in the town where my child was born. Now, while the tax code or codice fiscale was assigned immediately at birth, we received the plastic card in the mail, I believe, a few weeks after. Also, my child, because my child was born in Italy, the registration with the healthcare happened automatically. So for a child born in Italy, 2 Italian citizens, or at least 1 Italian citizen, then the healthcare is offered and the child is registered with the healthcare system automatically.
Wow, that's really cool that it's just immediate. Is it something where, like, because I know in the past, especially for people who were living abroad or maybe not citizens or people who maybe didn't have access directly to the system here in Italy, they would get the old green card. And is that something now where your child would receive the blue card, the healthcare card, rather than just the codice fiscale on its own?
Exactly. So we got the blue card immediately, like I said, in the mail after a couple of weeks. But yes, the answer is yes.
Wow, that's really cool to know, especially for anybody who may be coming to live in Italy as an Italian dual citizen. I'm assuming for them, as long as they're residing here, that they would be in the same situation you were in with your child.
Exactly. If you are an Italian, no matter if you're a dual citizen, but as long as you're an Italian citizen, the registration to the healthcare, if the birth happens in Italy, is automatic.
So now I actually have another question for you that goes off in a little bit of a different direction, but because it relates to what we're talking about, I think it'll be really interesting for some people to hear. There are some people who are interested in moving to Italy because they want to get Italian citizenship for their child. Unlike the US, where some people might be able to, at least in the past, be able to go and do that. How does that work in Italy? Does a child automatically receive Italian citizenship just by being born in the nation?
There are certain countries where that happens. For instance, the United States. Now, in Italy, it doesn't work that way. There is a set of rules which is very old, according to which citizenship is received by the child at the time of the birth from the parents or the parent who is an Italian citizen. So no matter where the child was born, that child is going to be an Italian citizen only if one of the parents or both the parents were Italian citizens at the time of the birth of the child. So the birth itself in Italy does not give citizenship to the child automatically. There are certain rights that you gain at birth by being born here, meaning you can access Italian citizenship after being a resident for 18 years. So when you turn 18, you can become an Italian citizen way more easily than anybody else. So that's an advantage. Also, if you were born in Italy and were taken away by your parents, they were taken back to your home country, then you can get Italian citizenship by residing in Italy for 3 years once you're an adult, rather than 10 years, which is the rule that applies to anybody else. So there are certain advantages connected to being born in Italy, but definitely the birth itself does not grant you any citizenship rights.
And so, Marco, I'm curious, because we've been talking about the situation that you went through where your child was born in Italy. What if it had actually been, maybe in a theoretical world, a very different situation where your child was born in the country that your wife is from, in the European Union? How would that work, bringing your child here or getting Italian citizenship for your child?
So in case of birth in another country, European country or even non-European country, in order for the child to get Italian citizenship, when one of the parents is an Italian citizen, the birth certificate must be registered in Italy in the town where the parent, the Italian parent, is registered. Only with the registration, then the child becomes an Italian citizen, meaning if you give birth as an Italian to a child abroad in a different country, in the EU or outside of the EU, your child will not gain Italian citizenship unless you register the child, the birth of the child, officially in Italy through the embassy or directly through the municipality in which the Italian parent is a resident. But I know you have some experience about being an Italian citizen residing abroad, and I know that you proudly use your Italian passport and are registered as an Italian passport in the country where you now reside. So maybe you can tell us a little bit how it is and what your experience looked like so far.
Yeah, it's actually been quite a journey. I mean, because effectively on a day-to-day basis, I'm living as an Italian citizen. I just now currently am living in Portugal. And it's been an interesting couple of years, almost few years at this point, where even just arriving in Portugal was quite an interesting kind of, I'm not going to say challenge, but set of kind of events, because within maybe 48, 72 hours of arriving in the country, I was already a resident. I sent an email to the local municipality, the local city hall, and they ended up responding to me like at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. I forget it, whatever. It was sometime in the evening. And the clerk said, yeah, just come tomorrow morning. I said, wait, hold on. Let's just make sure I have all the documents that you want. Tell me what documents that I need. And anyway, so within a couple of days, I was already in and out of that municipal office with my Italian passport, and then the registration of actually living where I live in the north of Portugal. And so from that perspective, that was really an amazing blessing to be able to have that kind of ease to be able to make Portugal my home. I mean, as some people know, especially from my channel, I mentioned on episode 220 of my project, Not Your Average Globetrotter, that I ended up moving abroad for family. But it made the process for all of us that were kind of going together much, much simpler. And then even registering for healthcare, that I'm not going to say was the most simple, trying to figure out where to go and what to do and how to do. But again, in comparison to what a non-EU citizen would have to deal with, it's been really amazing to see how streamlined things have been there, because I hear so many stories from so many people, especially people from the US, that had to wait for their visas for months, and then having to wait for their permission to stay in the country for months and months and months and months, and getting all of that all transferred over for so many people has been, I'm glad and I'm very appreciative that I haven't had to go through that. But even practically speaking, as an Italian citizen, being registered in the IRE, I received voting cards to go and vote and to make my voice as an Italian citizen heard. So that's also a really interesting little piece of being a citizen outside, that you have not only this piece of paper, but in a way you kind of are a representation of this other country that is maybe a little bit further away. You are a piece of that country. You still have civic duties of sorts that you can enact or choose not to if you so choose. And then also setting up the ability to work from there. That was, as an Italian citizen, there were a few things that were explained to me that because of my situation, being a citizen, were a little bit easier than maybe someone from another country, because I already had a nationality from inside of the European Union, as well as my financials were already based from Europe. So it was really interesting to see, again, I keep repeating this, but in comparison to other people, how streamlined it is. So I can say for individuals who are thinking about getting Italian citizenship by descent or 1948 case, however it may be, it really opens up a whole world on the other side of the world for you to be able to experience, and all different sorts of experiences. To be able to say you want to be in Germany, you have a job offer in Germany. If I'm not mistaken, even for individuals living in or wanting to live in Switzerland, being an EU citizen, I believe there's a lower threshold that you have to show, because they're not European Union, but they're still European Economic Area or whatever it is. So there are certain things that are made a little bit easier for people who are citizens of the country. And yeah, it's I can say definitely worthwhile to live in the country where you have your nationality, because at the same time, even though there are many things that are easier living as an Italian citizen inside of the EU, there's nothing quite the same as being an Italian citizen living in Italy. There are certain things, like, for example, if maybe I'm mistaken on this, but just my basic understanding, that if you're in a situation where you're unable to work, that you don't have to think about if you are going to be able to continue residing in that country, because you do have to meet certain financial requirements, and they don't want you to become reliant on the social systems in those countries, even though you will have access, of course, to healthcare and so on. But then, I mean, even in Italy, for example, if you're without work, you don't have to worry about even losing coverage from healthcare. Not that you would necessarily outside of Italy, but there are those factors that come up that you would have fewer concerns in an emergency situation. So I think it's also really important to look at those factors as well for those who are thinking about whether they want to make their life in Italy or elsewhere in the European Union. But I think this might actually be a great place to round out this episode. And so thank you so much for sharing some of your experiences and your wealth of knowledge with our audience. And of course, if anybody is needing help to move to Italy, move to the European Union, get their Italian citizenship, how can they get in contact with you and your team?
People can contact us through our website, ItalianCitizenshipassistance.com, or give us a call. Our number is on the website.
Absolutely fantastic. And of course, if you're interested in more content like this about moving to Italy, getting Italian citizenship, whatever it may be sure that you're subscribed to this YouTube channel as well as the audio-only podcast. But of course, if you're subscribed to the YouTube channel, that means you're also automatically subscribed to the Italian Real Estate Podcast, where you can hear more about purchasing property in Italy, renting property in Italy, and where to do so. Of course, also you can find more about life abroad and living abroad from this perspective of a dual citizen expat on my YouTube channel, as well as my audio podcast. You can search for Not Your Average Globetrotter or Rafael Di Furia on YouTube, Google, or your favorite podcasting platform of choice. But of course, we have been here again, live in the flesh, with Mr. Marco Permunian from ItalianCitizenshipassistance.com. I'm Rafael Di Furia. Stay safe and healthy, and we will see you all next time. Later.
Thank you.